Are your phones not ringing like they used to? Do you have too many open slots on your calendar? It sounds like you need Big Bang Marketing, Mike Crow's #1 inspection-generating marketing system for home inspectors. Discover how to systematically generate home inspections again and again. Plus, right now, when you try out the Big Bang Marketing System, you also get a list of other business building bonuses like additional monthly resources, monthly group coaching calls, and 2 bonus tickets to Mike's next in-person home inspector mastermind meeting where you can see firsthand how Mike's own home inspection business operates. So what are you waiting for? Go to coachblueprint.com/go today and transform your business with the power of Big Bang Marketing. That's coachblueprint.com/go.
Hi, this is Mike Crow, and I run a home inspection business. In fact, I've run a couple of home inspection businesses. The true joy for me, though, has been helping literally thousands of home inspectors build really solid home inspection businesses as well. We can help a single-man operation be able to do over $300,000 a year, maybe all the way up to $400,000 a year as a single inspector operation. Even better for me is the 80-plus companies that we have helped be able to build million-dollar home inspection businesses. I would like to help you be able to do the same thing.
In a recent webinar, Mike shared 7 simple secrets to build a successful business. Here is part 1 of Simple Secrets.
I'm getting ready to share with you 7 surprisingly simple ways to get more business right now, okay? Guaranteed. Let's dive into some very, very simple stuff. I'm going to teach you probably one of the most powerful things that I teach right off the board. Now, this is kind of like a cornerstone, so it's not everything, and yet everything starts with this, okay? And it's called the Big Bang Marketing Implementation System. Very simple. Most of you, 80+% of people that I work with, they want to have more business right now. They want the phone to ring more. This is where this all starts. Now, the good news is once this starts, then we start getting into how to structure your business. We get into the business bullseye. We get into so many other parts of how to take your business to that next level as well. However, if the phone's not ringing, then everything else gets tougher. And so we want to make sure we can help you book more appointments right there. And so people ask me all the time, how are we going to do that? And how is the usual question? The truth is, what will motivate you to succeed? Because the why plus the how equals wow. What is your why? Your why plus your how. And I can teach you how all day long. What I will also try to help you figure out is your why. Because once we get to your why plus how, that's going to equal wow. So let me get into some things here real quick. A lot of times people don't understand the difference the way I teach business and others. Most people think clients and customers are exactly the same. They're not. They're completely different, okay? And that's why I created what I call now Maven-driven marketing. You get 5 times the return on your investment when you do it this way, because it costs the same amount of dollars to go get a client as it does to go get a customer. And a customer is a maven in our world, just so you know. So let me show you a little bit more about that later. But here's the other thing. Part 2 is systems, and you got to build systems for 3 different parts of your business: the pre-launch, the launch, and the orbit. All parts of your business here are incredibly important, and we've got to make sure that we build it for each part. I like to call these systems stackables once we've built them, because once we build them and put them into place, they stay there for a long, long time. And think about this as a home inspector, right? We inspect systems all the time. And in our home, there are systems. I have a silverware tray. There's a silverware tray. That's a system. So it keeps all my silverware nice and neat. I don't know about you, but I have been in a house once or twice where, you know, a friend of mine and I opened up the drawer and all the silverware's in there, but it's not organized. There's no silverware tray. It takes me longer, and I eventually figure it out, but it takes me longer to get it done. Having systems will help make sure that everything gets done easier, faster, and more consistently. And so we want to do that. And as a home inspector, that's what we really do, right? We inspect systems, the heating system, the plumbing system, the electrical system, all of these systems. That's what we inspect. What I do is try to take a look at your business systems to make sure that your business systems are as strong as the systems in the houses that we inspect. You know, it's kind of funny because I walked outside one day and my wife looked around. She went, you know, people know we live here. And I went, okay. She goes, and I'm a little bit embarrassed because our front yard doesn't look that nice. And I would like to have greener grass. And I said, so you want us to have greener grass so people that know that we live here know that we care enough about our home to make sure that we take good care of our yard? She went, yeah, exactly. So greener grass is fun. So who has to be there? So I called a company. They came out and fertilized it. Wonderful. And then they put this thing on my door. We fertilized your yard, but if you do not water it about 15 minutes per area, okay, then this fertilizer will probably kill your grass. And I'm going, what? Okay. So I'm out there with the water hose, right? I'm out there with the water hose, watering the yard, having a good time. And I don't know about you, but I was happy. I was content for about the first 2 minutes. And then I said, what the hell am I doing out here? All right. And then about that time, my youngest son, Alex, walked out. And I love to say this, guilt, the gift that keeps on giving, right? I said, Alex, do you love your mother? And he went, well, yeah. I said, she wants us to have greener grass. Would you help me by watering the grass and, 15 minutes, per area or whatever? And he went, yeah. And then he came to me and said, Dad, let's get a sprinkler. And I went, yeah, but you got to move it every 15 minutes. Oh, I can do that. I'll set a timer and I'll move it every 15 minutes. And so that worked good for a day or two. And then one morning I came out and the water was still running from the day before, and it was out at the curb and it was running down the street. And I don't know about your town, but in my town, they'll write you a citation for that. They will make you pay a fine for that. And so I shut it off and I went, darn it. What am I going to do here? And then I went on an inspection, right? Then I went on an inspection, and there it was, the answer, duh, a sprinkler system, a lawn irrigation system for inspectors. But for the rest of the world, we call it sprinkler systems, okay? And I went, there we go. And so I had a sprinkler system put into the yard, and it's still there today. I want you to understand, that was 30 plus years ago. The sprinkler system is still there today, watering my yard. All right, think about that. So do you have to be there now? No. At 4 a.m. in the morning, it waters all of the yard and takes care of it. So you need to put it into place, and it takes care of the yard for you. It's so much easier. It's a system. It basically helps you get it done regularly, consistently, with better results than you can possibly imagine. And the Big Bang Marketing is a sprinkler system for having greener grass in your business. It's really that simple. So here's the thing is, in your business, you have a before, a during, and an after, all right? You have like knives and forks and spoons in the silverware tray. You have the pre-launch, the launch, and the orbit in your business. What do you do before the inspection? What do you do during the inspection? What do you do after the inspection? Your business is really built, and by the way, every business is really built around those. And so here's some of the things that I want to make sure that you understand. It's like putting a rocket ship into space. And you don't expect anybody to just like throw you the keys and go, hey, why don't you go take that rocket ship for a spin? Tell me what you think. No, it doesn't work that way, all right? And so you have to understand that in the before system, there's a map. How do we build the rocket? How do we make sure it doesn't blow up when it gets, trying to get off the launching pad? How do we make sure that all the pieces are there? It's a map. It's a blueprint. And that's what we hand you, is a blueprint to building the Big Bang Marketing System, put it into your business, and take it and move it that direction. And then during the inspection, right? During the inspection, that is all about the challenges, the concerns, the fears, the problems that people are worried about having when they buy a house. That's why we're there. And honestly, not just that, but we're there because real estate agents are afraid of being sued, which has happened when an inspection didn't happen. And so they want to make sure that somebody else can stand in and help make sure those people are given the right information so that problems, if they do show up later, everybody knew that that was likely to happen, all right? And then the after part comes in, and we'll talk about that in a minute. In the launch, though, the problems, this is very important. In fact, you should write this one down. You should write it down. You should say it to yourself every day. I say it to myself over and over and over again. You were the most referable when you were solving people's problems. Let me say that again. you are the most referable when you are solving people's problems. So when you have that whole launch phase going, during the inspection going, how are you going to make sure that you're referable? And how are you going to trigger those referrals? Because that's some of the things that we teach to try to make sure that you can get that done. And then, you know, the challenge with most home inspectors is they often actually have fun finding things that are wrong. It's okay to have fun finding things that are wrong, but they don't want to see you having fun picking their house apart or their to-be house apart. So you need to be very careful with that. And then in the after or the orbit phase, this is relationships. And think about putting a rocket ship into space, right? How much energy does it take before you get that rocket ship out, up and into the air? It takes a tremendous amount of power. And that's what you're going to have to start with. You're going to have to take a tremendous amount of effort to get it up and get it there. And then while it's in the atmosphere, all right, during the phase where it's going out to outer space, still takes some good power, but now it's really about managing anything that could go wrong, all right, inside of that. But when you're in orbit, how much effort does it take when a satellite is in effort to keep it going? How much effort does that take? Hardly any. It's like my sprinkler system, right? It takes me no effort to water the yard now. None. And honestly, I just go check it, you know, maybe once a month to make sure that it's still there, it's still working. That's the same thing with the orbit part of your business and the relationships. You just dot the I's and cross the T's, making sure that those relationships are staying strong. It's so easy. And I will tell you that's where probably 90% of home inspectors fail. And we'll talk more about that too. So in the orbit phase, it's all about relationships. You got to equip the rocket properly, and it will continually send you back useful information, such as referrals. It's so easy. Now, here's the question I need for you to ask yourself. And I want you to slow down for a second. I hope you have pen and paper in front of you. And on the pen and paper, I want you to write down which one of these are you the strongest at? Which one are you really, this is the best you are? And by the way, when I go out and talk with inspectors and I go, how many of you really, truly love, you know, finding new customers, okay? Getting the phone to ring more. How many of you like that? And about 10% raise their hand. And then I say, all right, so how many of you really love doing the inspection? If you could just do 2 inspections a day, you would be thrilled. You'd be thrilled. How many? 80+% of inspectors raise their hand. I get it. I get it. And then I say, all right, how many of you, after the inspection is done, all the paperwork's done, the report's delivered, how many of you would love to follow up with the clients, the home buyers, and the customers, your mavens? How many of you would love to follow up with them every single month, month after month after month after the inspection? And again, about 10% of the hands go up. And here's what I want to make sure you see. This is really important. Do I have your attention? That's the problem. That's the problem. Okay? This is running your business on a personality instead of or versus a system. The reason I have a multi-million-dollar business in my home inspection world is because it's run on systems, stackables, things that are like my sprinkler system that works automatically whether I'm there or not. Just like in homes, the electricity is working whether I'm there or not. The heating and air conditioning is running whether I'm there or not. I don't have to be standing there cranking it, okay? And that's what you need to make sure that you're building into your business as well. So, clients versus customers, Maven-driven marketing. That is the number one, probably one of the most important parts of this. Number 2 was the systems in the pre-launch, okay? And making sure that you get there. And then number 3 is the stackables. And I want you to understand, everybody kind of understands stackables, but they all have a system to kind of get it wrong. So the stackables are very, very simple inside of this. I'll give you this demonstration. Here are some of the most powerful stackables in creating your pyramid of success, okay? So you got to have the right kind of business card. I look at people's business cards and 90+% of them are old style and garbage, all right? You need at least 2 things on the front of your business card. unique selling points, and you need your number one best unique selling point on the back of your business card. I met somebody the other day and went, oh, hey, Mike, I got new business cards. Let me show you. And I turned it over, and there's nothing on the back side of his business card. And I turn it back to the front, and there's nothing that says why I should do business with him, okay, or his company. And so I went, okay, this is a good placekeeper for somebody, but this is not a marketing tool. This is not the real stackable, the kind we build. And then brochures the same way. 90% of brochures out there are all about, make sure you get a home inspection because this is one of the most important, financial decisions you'll ever make. It talks about the 500 things that are going to be inspected. Talk about all the different types of inspections you can get. All good, but also all 30 years old. That's what we had to use 30 years ago to let people know why they needed to get a home inspection. Now the question is not why they get a home inspection. Now the question is why do they use you to get a home inspection? And it's so simple and it's so straightforward, and you got to get it right to be able to do that, okay? You got to get it right to be able to do that, and your brochures. In fact, I was up in the Washington, D.C. area of Virginia recently, and I just happened to be in the area. I stopped with one of my members, and we were going in and out of offices, and I saw some brochures of different ones, and I picked up one brochure, and I looked at it and went, oh, and I picked up another brochure, and I went, oh, you got to be kidding me. They're just mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. And these were really good companies that put out this. One was a franchise, and one was a big company, but they just didn't get it right. You've got to make sure you get your brochure right. Then there's the big bang marketing. You've got to make sure you have the offices to walk in and out of every single week. You need approximately 10 offices per inspector per week to be able to do the big bang marketing and then be able to do presentations at those offices. The big bang marketing is powerful. The real purpose of the big bang marketing is to be able to do a presentation at those offices. And so we teach you about those. And then, of course, most people are in love with their report. Usually the reports are much more complicated and made for home inspectors instead of for home buyers, let alone for mavens, okay? And so you usually have to modify your report and make it a little bit easier. Uniforms, simple. Most home inspectors go, well, I'm not wearing a uniform ever together in my life, okay? I get it, okay? I don't really want to wear a jacket when I do this sort of thing. I could wear a T-shirt and shorts here. Would you respect me as much if I were standing here in a T-shirt and shorts? Probably not, okay? And so you need to understand that the uniforms also speak highly of you, and when you want to start duplicating you by having other inspectors in the field and different things, then you're going to want to do that as well, all right? So uniforms. And then if you've got to hire a part-time, maybe even work that up to a full-time marketing person, that's a stackable. Once you hire them and train them, they're running that routes for you, okay? Then you've got to make sure you've got to have a good backup call center in place. If you don't have a good backup call center in place, you will miss calls. I have 4 amazing people that can answer the phones here, 4, all right? And we still miss some calls. Now, we do somewhere around 5,000 inspections a year, and you might go, well, it's because you do so many. Trust me, every time I work with a brand new inspector, and he goes from 5 inspections to, a month to 5 inspections a week, he's missing calls. And you need to make sure you have a backup call center. The cool thing about stackables is once you have these in place, then you start on another whole set of stackables, like adding in a different inspection type. Maybe it's termites, maybe it's swimming pool, maybe it's irrigation systems or swimming or sprinkler systems or whatever it is. And so you basically add in different types of things and you start building systems for those as well. So the stackables is one of the most important things that you could possibly ever put into place. And the great news is once you put it into place, it's there for the rest of your inspection business history.